For Module 4, Additional Tools and Resources for the Smartboard, I looked into using the Smart Gallery toolkit in my classroom. One of the first ways that I would utilize it is using the vortex to review common vocabulary terms, especially when utilized with math. One of these is to compare prime numbers and composite numbers. Students would be given turns to go to the board and drag and drop the numbers at the bottom of the screen into the vortex. If it's correct, in the case of 19 being a prime number, it will take it into the vortex. If it's incorrect and 3 was said to be a composite number, it will shoot it out of the vortex. This could be done in a center type format, and the students would then have to explain what they think each of the terminologies are, or as a review after learning the concept. I do this in my classroom occasionally, in which I introduce a concept that they may have learned in the past, and this is to bring the information back to the forefront. They would go through all of these, maybe taking notes as to which ones that went into what place and why, and then they would have to make a theory at the end of what each of the terms mean. Another way that I would use this toolkit would be the rolling bar at the top of the screen. It would be a great way to have the vocab constantly reminded to the students. As we work on the concept down below, they could be referring back up to the terminology as they demonstrated area, for instance, and drew the squares on, or as they showed perimeter going around. This could also be used to review information, or to give certain notes that they need to make sure that they have in their notebooks. When they come into class, it could be giving them directions. A lot of uses for the scrolling bar at the top. Another use would be the scoreboard. Usually we simply write the score on the board. I really like this use for it. Students can come up and it can be very visual. They can be in charge of it. You can also change the interval, which I like. Just another way to add this in Jeopardy games and other fashions. Another way I will utilize my classroom, I've never used this in the past. It's typically like Hangman, give the kids a clue, a continuous set of points. They can see that it's a 4-letter. Let's say they start by saying L. That's a hit. There is one L. I, N, E. And it is a line. Another thing that I noticed while using the toolkit, this is kind of like a matching game in which students can match. This would be a great center activity that could be done, or as a class review game as a whole. I only placed a few behind here. Line segment would be number 4. They would then have to find the definition for line segment. A continuous set of points, that would not be correct. And we know a continuous set of points is a line, and those two disappear. Another way that I would use it, and have used it in the past, is when doing probability. Roll the dice. You can have a student up at the board rolling the dice, and then picking up the pen and marking the experimental probability out of a certain number. One other thing that I noticed that I liked was the Venn diagrams that were already given. The labels over here can be drag and dropped. You can change the names on those. They can compare longitude and latitude. These are pre-formed though with these can just be changed as you go. Those are just a few ways that I would use the toolbar or toolkit. Thank you.